Good morning. It's me, Larry, and I'm coming to you live from Stevie's room. Today's educational video is on medicating the cat. Let me first begin by saying mileage will vary on this because each cat is different. There are some cats that are easier to medicate than others. Um, there are various different styles of medicating the cat. Let me also say that veterinarians oftentimes prescribe medications, and when you see them administer it at the office, it's just fine and dandy because the cat is nervous, it's on its best behavior or its worst behavior, and then they have trouble medicating and they sort of take it in the back and do it. Or um, they also have more skill at doing this repeatedly as a first time. But remember, it's the first shot that they're doing. When you take the cat home, it's now in its own territory. And when you approach the cat to medicate it, it's very different than at the veterinarian's office. Um, there are some cats who are a little more receptive to it. It's almost like they know that you're helping them. None of them like it. They don't understand it. You can't explain it to them. And there's a variety of different styles. Oftentimes, you'll see the veterinarian take a pill and just pop it in its mouth and rub its, just come right in. I don't like the idea of getting one's hand close to the animal's mouth. I mean, they're nervous. They can clamp down the wrong way. Next thing you know, you got a bite to the hand. If you can, I mean, that is something you have to decide. They make a pill gun, which is where you put the pill in a little gun and it shoots it into the mouth. Um, I think it's a bit aggressive. I've seen it. It works. And the last way is kind of what I do. I mean, I'm not the best medicator of all time. Um, but what I do is I have a little plastic syringe. The veterinarian gave me those little syringes when I had the epileptic cats that I had to give them medication. Um, if it's a liquid, it's easier. They give you a syringe that's already measured. Um, Let me also stop for a moment and say, there's some people who try and mix it with the food. Um, if they don't eat the food, you've just lost that dose. And usually they give you just enough that if you fail, you've lost a dose. And it's very easy to fail. They may not, they'll smell it. They're not stupid, or they might eat the first time, but not the second. I have found that it's generally not the best way. So back to the syringe. I take the little syringe, um, where you and I grind. If it's a pill, I grind. If it's a liquid, they already give you a little syringe where it's measured. Um, Now, giving the medication with the syringe is very important. You do not want to go in front where it basically chokes on it or even swallows it down the wrong pipe, because you can have pulmonary aspiration where the cat chokes on the medication, or gets the fluid down the wrong pipe and can't cough it up, and now you got a bigger problem. I go in from the side. Um, you might lose a little, but you're going to get most of it in. Some cats will allow you to do it repeatedly. Sometimes they give you a 10-day dose. You might get through the first three, and then, and with kittens, it's obviously easier than adults. Um, and with cats that are getting better, it's usually harder than when they're really sick. I mean, they're weak and they don't feel well, and you sort of catch them off guard. Now, what do you do if the cat runs away from you? I mean, that can happen too. I had that happen with Michael. Um, He got one dose, and that was enough for him. He got the shot at the veterinarian's office, he got the dose at home, and that was it. I also had that happen with one of the epileptic cats, where it just was, unless it was incapacitated in that moment, you weren't going to get it. He knew what you were going to do. Um, so, I mean, if you can't, you can't. You can beat yourself up on this, but it's not worth it. You tried, you keep trying, but you also don't want to make your cat feral. I mean, eventually it'll run away from you, which is something that I've also noticed is cats that are the most feral on the outside that you've socialized indoors tend to be harder to medicate than those raised from infancy, or those that are already just naturally a very tame, calm cat. Um, when you socialize a feral and it doesn't forget its history. And what if you have a completely feral cat? Well, then you basically have to trap it in your house. I mean, I have two that are completely feral. That I would have to. They're well behaved, but they're not going to let me go near it to touch it. Um, I have to basically trap it in my own house. Um, they just don't want to be pet, and if they see you coming at them with a syringe, forget it. It's not happening. Um, and you have to hope they can give it a shot or a medication. And yes, you are at a deficit, but obviously, if they were out on the street, um, they wouldn't even get anything. They wouldn't even get, evaluated. And in extreme cases, and that's another thing is, oftentimes a feral, and I've had this happen, as they get older and as they become ill, you find that you can medicate them. It's when they're young and healthy, and you know that they're not going to let you that easily. And the ones that you have socialized completely are going to be the first to sort of back away when you go to do this. And doctors, I think, don't realize this. Um, they give it more on a clinical medical perspective than the everyday person trying to do this. Um, you don't want to get scratched. You don't want to get bitten. You want to help the animal. All of those things are true. I mean, look, we had little Tommy in here, and he had worms, fleas, coccidia. We dealt with all of it. Um, uh, you know, Michael was very sick with an upper respiratory, and he got the shot of convenia, but he was very, very sick, having trouble breathing, which was subject to the possible pneumonia. He was given doxycycline. We got the shot and the first dose. Fortunately, he kicked it. He kicked the virus, and he's better now. So, sometimes these cats do get better with minimal or some. Anything is better than nothing. That's the way I look at it. I don't, you know, I think that you have to try. And if it's severe, like, let's say it's a severe case, there are times we actually have to cage the animal. Instances where I've had to cage the animal, broken bones. Two cats that were hit by cars that I have in the house were caged for 45 days. They were outdoor cats that were brought in as ferals. Ozzy is one, Popo is another. Um, and any kind of treatment, removing the bandages and having you had to take them back to the veterinarian. It's basically a full-time job dealing with rehabilitating a cat of that nature. Um, so medicating becomes another job, and plus it's feral. But they actually, both of them, took the medication. They actually, and when you go into the cage, you're going to see how they're going to react to you. Um, uh, they, like I said, the sicker they are, the easier it is, the more healthy they are, and the better they're getting, the harder. The friendly cat. Look, I had cats that are so friendly, so loving, so trusting that even when I force fed them as they were dying of something like cancer, um, when they hadn't eaten in several days, and um, they allowed it. They allowed it. They allowed medications. They allowed, and they did not run from me. The trust was that much that it's almost like if I'm doing this to them, they knew. Um, and some people are different than others. Um, you know, like in how well they can do this. I would not put myself at the top of the food chart at this. Um, I'm I'm just a regular guy doing this. I'm probably best at socializing them, but medicating them is a bit. Um, it kind of counters socialization. I mean, you're basically taking the cat that you worked on so hard to build the trust with, and you're kind of testing it. But you have to. It's to save its life. And there are some instances where even taking the cat to the veterinarian are um, an obstacle. If my cat sees a carrier, that's done. They're done. You're not going to get it. You have to hide the carrier, and it may take two people, you know, to get this cat. Like one has to get it, the other one has to be with the carrier ready to close the door. They know. As soon as they see it, they know. They know they don't want to go to the veterinarian. I only had one cat that ever liked going to the veterinarian. you know, he enjoyed his stay at the veterinarian. Um, but he is the exception, not the rule, and he did pass away as a much older cat of kidney failure. He was like 17 years old. So he had many visits to the veterinarian, a major surgery, all these types of things, and yet he still liked going, like riding in the car. He was not typical. Um, Another thing, taking the cat to the veterinarian. This should probably be a separate. I'll keep it. I will include it because you are taking them. Do not take the cat to the veterinarian without making it sure to be in a secured carrier. I cannot tell you how many people have lost cats trying to put it in a box or a flimsy carrying mechanism. Even worse, I've seen people walk in with it in their hand. Anything, you trip on the way in and drop it. There was one woman that lost a cat and was hysterical crying. The cat got away from her. And she had signs all over the neighborhood, all over the community, offering reward for years. For years. She did not let this go. Got it back. And, you know, people will put it in a box and it jumps out of a box. They're driving in a car and they roll down the window and it jumps out the window. Make sure the carrier is closed. There have been several times where the veterinarian bring the cat in the box or the vet tech and it's closed, but it's not really locked. And you're carrying the cat, like you need to check it. Like you go to check it and it might be, wait a minute, this isn't locked. It could basically bust out the door. It is worth the investment to do it in a carrier, no matter what. So that's about it. That's medicating the cat and dealing with the vet and dealing with transport and dealing with just about everything that I can think of um, to help you get your cat better. Thanks for listening.